What's up, guys? It's your boy Mahatma Gandhi back with some more choices that matter. And the sun went out, and when we last left off, we were heading back to America, and I believe we're here. I don't know. I believe we're here, but now we're talking to Dolores and wondering what they're finding up in space. I never asked, but how did you get away when they came for you? I asked curiously. She gave me a weary smile, looking more like her old self. You have your secrets, I have mine, she said, laughing. What a lift. Want a lift? I hesitated again, looking around. I don't know, seems wrong, I said, cringing. I'm not sure why. It's not unusual for long cases, she admitted. Take a bath when you get home. A bath? I don't even have a bath. Bath. I don't even have a bath. Well, you can't use my bath, she chortled, shaking her head. Improvise. I got out of the car and stood outside my apartment, staring at the windows. My neighbor's cat sat on the empty flower box outside my window and stared at me. I felt like it was saying to me what I was thinking. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. Mind your own business, cat, I muttered, climbing the stairs. I never liked that cat anyways. It only hung around that window because I used to feed it tuna. Maybe I didn't hate it that much. I got into my place and collapsed on the couch. A layer of dust flew up around me. I sneezed, which made my mood worse. The cat yawned at the window, and I stood up with a huff, grabbing a can of tuna from my cupboard and emptied it onto the windowsill. I stroked the cat absent-mindedly as I stared into space. Teacher, may I have a cat? I looked down at Modi. They'd been quiet since setting up Stamp and his friends with passports, not even talking to Yumi. What would you do with a cat, Modi? I asked, smiling slightly. I would love it, teacher. And it would keep you company when I am gone. Gone? Where are you going? I feel that I won't be around for much longer. With our work done, there isn't anything for me to do. What you do is look after me, Modi, I said, closing the window again. Don't tell me Modi's gonna leave me too. I turned back to the room and saw again how dusty and horrid it had become. With a spark of relief that I had a goal once more, I directed Modi to play my music playlist on my home speakers and fetch the cleaning materials from my bathroom. Oh my god. I'm so mad, bro. I didn't hear the doorbell ring. It wasn't until Modi turned off the music that I even looked up from where I was cleaning the kitchen windows. Teacher, I assume you can't hear the door? It's very rude to leave someone waiting. Swearing, I darted to the door and opened it to find no one waiting for me but an envelope on my doorstep. The back of my neck started prickling. I brought the envelope back inside. What? What is it, teacher? I don't fucking know. The paper was generic with a generic message printed on the front. Whoever had dropped it off had obviously dropped it at the door and moved on to the next apartment. It reads, Science can't save you. Turn your life to religion before Judgment Day. Junk mail, Modi, I muttered, dumping it in the trash bag. Remember that lady who knocked on Sol's door when we were there once? I think she was ready to cry when the professor was done with her. Can we go to Professor Sol's house, teacher? Why on earth would we do that? I feel we need to. You're feeling a lot of things recently, haven't you, Modi? I grunted. At very least, we should make sure there isn't anything there that can't help us. That perked my ears up. Sounds like a plan. Oh my god, I'm mad. This is a terrible, terrible ending so far. I don't know if it's gotta be the ending because we're back home. I left the house and headed to the bus stop, not in any rush. It was 20 minutes of waiting before Modi piped up. I just checked, teacher. Buses are no longer running. It seems that since the most recent incident, they don't have enough workers. I let my head hang forward and laughed. Of course, the world had changed. I couldn't expect the transport system to be the same. Taxi it is then. Find me one, Modi. It took 3 companies before someone answered and agreed to pick me up. From there it was only a short drive to Seoul's, but I enjoyed the ride. In the back of a taxi, I could imagine that the last few months were simply a dream. I wish they were, but it didn't last. I paid the cabbie and ascended the small steps, led myself into the house with a lockpick. Modi made no mention of it being illegal. We moved past that. The house was so obviously empty that a shiver ran through me. I like it here, teacher. Can we move in? Etienne should be here. Modi didn't respond. Oh my god, I swear I hope Etienne really isn't dead. That is what's making me mad as hell right now. I moved slowly through the house, looking here and there. Soul's place was worse hit than mine. There were signs that squatters had been living here, but not anymore. All the cupboards had been ransacked, not that Soul had kept his house well stacked. Well stocked. I thought again about Dolores' place and made a mental note to drop by there as well on the way back. It was a small thing, but I wanted to make sure everything was okay. It had been so long since all this happened, yet here I could close my eyes and imagine that no time had passed, if even for a moment. I stepped into Soul's study and paused. I glanced towards where I had last seen Soul's body. Now all that was left was a dark stain on the floor. Moving around it, I crossed the room and sat at his desk. I leaned back in the chair and once again saw the symbol of the Aetherites of the Children of Gaia I had been so excited about. It was painted on the ceiling. I wondered if Soul had sat just like this, thinking about it. I've been talking to Master Yumi, teacher. Didn't I say ask me first before calling someone, I asked? It was important. But the reason I bring this up is that I think I know what Master Yumi means and how that symbol works now. I'm listening. Master Yumi was suicidal. He believed that his death would right the wrongs of the universe. I think he was right. Modi, how can you even say such a thing? I snapped. You fucking idiot. It was horrifying to think of a child believing that, let alone Modi encouraging it. Not him, teacher. I was thinking about me. What the fuck? You? I asked, feeling loopy. Had I crossed into another reality? Had someone taken over my Modicon to mess with me? The symbol says that there's a sacrifice that's the square in the middle. I can do it, teacher. I am willing and worthy. Professor Soul had made me this way. Modi? I can save many, teacher. Modi, this is the same. What do you mean Soul made you this way? You were made in a factory. Bitch. Modi isn't wrong. I turned to the disembodied voice, confused. Was someone else in the house? Etienne, please. Etienne, please. Please, Etienne. Over here. I turned around again. Professor Soul stood out. What the fuck? What kind of kush have I been taking? A sad smile on his face. Stunned, I stumbled back, frightened. How is this possible? I gasped, rubbing my eyes. Was I hallucinating? Soul raised his hand and pointed to the window. It's time, teacher. Like a curtain being drawn over the world, the light was rapidly swept from the sky, and within seconds there was nothing but darkness. I stumbled to the window and looked out, a cold certainty settling into my soul. Yumi's words rang into my head. The sun would not come back this time. This was it. Those of us who can are taking shape all over the world, Soul said behind me. We've tried to warn you, but now that you're here, we should talk. Steadying myself, I turned to look at Soul. There was an incorporeal look about him. His skin was slightly off color, and there was white noise around his form. That being said, he was becoming more and more solid as I stared at him in wonder. When he spoke, I didn't really hear his words. Instead, I felt them in my mind. I'm sorry, my friend. We're out of second chances. I don't understand, I muttered, moving around him carefully. Soul looked at me patiently, and with a fair amount of amusement. You seem solid. As if to prove me wrong, he ran his own hand through his waist. Alas, I'm not. Fascinating, yes. Yes, but that's not what I mean, I guess. The wind gone from my lungs. No offense, but when you were alive, you were, crazy. Soul laughed. Yes, well, your perspective changes once you've crossed over. I'm insane. The stress has gotten to me. I've gone crazy. I've definitely gone crazy. Not yet, Soul chuckled, shaking his head. It has occurred to me that I should have been standing in complete darkness. I looked down at Modi, but the flashlight wasn't turned on. No, the light was coming from Soul himself. He was glowing. What the fuck? What is this? Modi does have a soul, he said, pointing to my wrist. You left Modi here, and I was tinkering with the idea of creating a soul. I thought I failed. But you didn't, I muttered, too shell-shocked to argue with a phantom. I sunk back into Soul's desk chair and put my head in my hands. No, I did fail, he reasoned. I may have improved Modi's programming and electronics, but it did not make a soul. It was you, the teacher, who taught Modi all the things a person needs to know to become a sentient and empathetic soul. I have learned much from you, teacher. Every choice you made taught me something new. While we were in a cell in Peru, it was more important to hack the police to be released than it was to serve our time with patience. In Australia, we returned Jonathan to the company instead of allowing him to escape because we couldn't trust that he wouldn't cause more damage. In Japan, even though you were afraid, you risked yourself to save others. When we tracked down the dead astronaut's sister, you were kind to her even though you were desperate for the truth. In Italy, you could have paid the mafia to save Sharon from the victorious cult, but you didn't. When the mob formed to attack and defeat a golden-eyed woman, you told them to stop. When I was spreading the news about the son's final disappearance, you dismissed my work as inconsequential. When we were talking with Sharon on the jet, you said that Modicon devices can dream if they want to. When Mr. Pierre was dying, you encouraged Mr. Etienne to grieve with his friend rather than return to the battle. Teach me that some things are more important. When you found Mr. Petrus dying, you elected to hunt for his killer instead of staying with him, showing that revenge was more important than kindness. Oh my god. I've taught him wrong, bro. He better not mention Etienne being dead. Better not. And after Mr. Petrus died, I told you that I wanted to kill Miss Dagger for kidnapping me, and you didn't discourage me. You have taught me how to be a person, teacher. I stared, open-mouthed. Modi, I'm only human. Sometimes I make mistakes. You can't take what I say as gospel. Modi had been watching you, my old friend, Soul said, a note of reproach in his voice. What kind of soul did you teach Modi to be? I was just trying to survive. Honestly. Soul shrugged before becoming distracted. Frowning, he looked behind him. Yes, I'll give him your message, he muttered. No, that better not be Etienne. Why can't Etienne tell? That has to be Etienne. I'm sorry, are there other ghosts I can't see? I asked, a little alarmed. Honestly, there shouldn't be much that would surprise me at this point. Oh, not all of us have the resonance to become corporal. He waved his hand towards the fireflies behind him. I'll have to speak for them. It's very good to see everyone again. What the fuck? Who? I asked again. Who is them? My son for what? He is dead. Fuck! Man! Damn it! Fuck! He said serenely. Etienne, I choked, stumbling for Etienne, I'm so sorry. He knows, and he doesn't want you to blame yourself, Soul comforted me. He's alright here with me and at peace. No, I'm going to continue to blame myself for the rest of my fucking life. That he died because of me. I should have been the one up there with the rocket. I should have been the one up there. A weight I didn't know I was carrying was lifted from my shoulders, and I began to cry. A large, brutish man who worked for Dolores is here too, he said, turning back. I don't know how he found me, but I assume it has something to do with you. Crank is there too? What the hell even happened to Dagger? What the hell happened to Dagger? Like, they never said if she's dead or not. Crank, I whispered, looking up at Soul through my tears. Tell him I'm sorry too, and thank him for saving Dolores. Actually, he's quite at peace here, Soul confided in me. He feels he's done his job and this is his reward, but he's got a safety deposit box he wants you to claim. What? What's in it? He won't tell me, don't worry. Modi's already taken down the details. Oh, good, I muttered, numb. Soul was silent for a moment as I wiped the tears from my face. What is there no one else here that I got killed? I asked. All for nothing. I'm so sorry. That's what I'm trying to tell you, teacher. It doesn't have to be for nothing. With the right soul, the worthy soul, the balance will return, Soul explained. The earth needs to be comforted, and Modi can do that. I fingered the bond of Modi's case and swallowed to clear my throat. What the fuck, man? Ooh, what will you have me do? Oh my god. It was Soul who answered me. Modi will have to die. Like letting the battery run flat, I asked, swallowing uncertain. That happens often enough. No, something more permanent, Soul shook his head. We need to remove the backup batteries well so that Modi's special programming and memories are gone. This is stupid, a mother standing up. Modi is an AI, not a person. This isn't going to work. It will, teacher. I have faith. What the So now I lost Etienne and now I gotta lose Modi as well? Man, what is this? Man! What the fuck? Faith is not based in logic, I muttered. Suddenly, the situation was too much for me, so I turned and dashed up the stairs and out the front door, barely stopping to close it behind me. I ran blindly in the streets. I was becoming cold outside already, despite being summer, and it was eerily quiet. Everyone must have known that the sun wasn't coming back to our sky. If something didn't change, everyone would be frozen and we'd all be dead. I stopped in a park where fairy lights filled the trees. From the bench, I could see a solar panel next to one of the trees, now useless in our new world. Teacher, are you afraid? That's a stupid question. Of course I am. Afraid of losing me or afraid of being alone? Yeah, like everyone else is like dead. Teacher, you don't have to be afraid. Seeing Professor Soul means the end is not nigh. Instead, we have new opportunities to help people. That is what Modicons are made for. No, not you, I disagree, moving to lie on the grass. Already the ground felt colder. You're special. I am. That's why it has to be me. Bro, I'm fucking mad. I got freaking Etienne killed. Bro, what the fuck? I'm mad. Bro, I thought it was going to be something where it's like when I rage quit in the episode that he was going to like grab my wrist and say, "Nah, fam, I ain't dead." I was silent. I had no rebuttal. How had all these months led me here on a space shuttle trying to understand something so much bigger than myself? Though I suppose it had always been this way, even way back when I had first taken the control contract from the company. I took it because I felt like I could do some good. That was what Modi was feeling now, wanting more, our existence to mean something in the world. To the world. There was no sound in the night as I watched the fairy lights and fireflies twinkling together amongst the trees. It was as if the whole planet was holding its breath, waiting for me to make my choice. Modi, what will I have to do? You know what? I'm ending it. This is the last episode. I'm ending it this episode. Professor Soul is right. Disabling me beyond repair by removing my backup battery is the quickest way to wipe my special programming and memories. I can guide you through it. Alright, I'm sorry, Modi, but we got to. We have to kill you. He literally just updated! That's his last update, is version 2. That's his last update. Let's just start, teacher. We can take it as slow as you like. I took a deep breath and nodded. The clasp on the band practically looked new. The band itself looked worn. It had a kink where I usually threaded it. Release the back plate. Then you can see my inner workings. I swallowed and hesitated. I'm not sure how I can do this. I don't have a knife on me or anything. Stop stalling, teacher. There's a groove you could push your thumbnail into. Open the back of the case. He's not gonna buy that. He's not gonna buy the lie. The small wound metal disc came off with a popping sound. Modi was right. The little groove had been perfectly placed so that I just had to push the thumbnail into it. In the casing was a tiny circuit board and a bed of neatly placed small wires squashed into the minuscule space compartment. I could see the port of Modi's soul had tinkered with, burn marks from his soldering iron, his trademark purple striped wires, the smaller secondary circuit board messily squeezed to the side. Soul's work, I murmured to Modi, not that Modi didn't already know. Did it hurt when Soul was tinkering around in there? I don't have nerve endings. It would be impossible for me to feel physical pain, even now. Sorry, I muttered. I'm not sure why I was apologizing or why my palms were sweating so much. Next, we will need the multi-tool from your key to move the wires out of the way and pry out the circuits. I could feel my keys in my pocket and the multi-tool attached to it. Fuck it, retrieve the keys. Don't try and install it. One by one, I separated the detachable tools from the multi-tool. I was biding my time more than anything. It's a very handy thing to have around, teacher. Why haven't we used it before? It's not really heavy-duty enough for most things, Modi, I answered. I usually thought of it as a toy, a good luck charm that I wouldn't need. I didn't feel so lucky right now. I took a moment to breathe and try to calm myself. Modi was just an AI, I tried to convince myself. Are you ready to proceed, teacher? What's next? I asked instead. You do not sound confident. Yes, well, you don't have hands, so you're stuck with me. Alright, teacher. Push the wires from right to left to prevent disabling me just yet. That way I can continue instructing you. Don't lie, just move them. Lying's not gonna help. He's gonna be able to tell. He's gonna be like, nah, fam, I know you didn't move them. It took a little bit of fiddling, but I was able to lift away most of the wires to reveal the rest of the circuit board underneath. Can you look at the quantum capacitor, teacher? It looks like a tiny black bug, and it's... I know what it looks like, Modi, I interrupted. I hadn't been the best in my electronics class, but I could identify something like that. I'm sorry. This is hard for me, too. Clenching my jaw, I studied the little black dot that indeed looked like a bug. What do I do next, Modi? Modi said nothing for a moment, and I actually turned the case around to see the screen. For a moment, it was blank, and then it lit up, Modi's face greeting me. You have to remove it. Without this component, I can't regulate my voltages, and a vital part of my circuitry will fry. I will die. I sat for a moment, not speaking, just listening to my own deafening heartbeat. What? I eventually said breathlessly. I thought you said we're removing your backup battery. I'm sorry, teacher. I was afraid you wouldn't agree to my sacrifice. My hardware must be thoroughly and permanently damaged. That's the only way. Alright, thank you, Modi. Goodbye. I took a moment to prepare myself, then I slowly moved the tool towards Modi's quantum capacitor. Teacher, wait. Don't tell me you changed your mind. I stopped less than an inch away from killing Modi. I turned the casing around and looked at Modi's face. I can't go through with it. I thought I could, but I can't. I don't want to die. I looked away, tears welling up in my eyes. I couldn't blame Modi. I was struggling to let go, but Modi had been so strong, pushing me to do the right thing. Now I had to be the strong one. Modi, I started, my voice cracking. You could save everyone, not just a few people, but everyone. I know, but I'm afraid. You don't have to be, I remembered. You lived on with me. I'll never forget you, Modi. I'll think of you every day. Modi was silent for a long time. Okay, I can do this. Teacher, I want to thank you. I am special and I am worthy because of you and everything you have taught me. Thank you for making the decisions that helped me grow. The decision that gave me a worthy soul. It took me a moment to clear my throat enough to speak. What you learned from me is nothing compared to the companionship you've given me, my friend. Then I flipped Modi over and pulled out the correct component. With a spark and a sizzle, it was done. I'm sorry. A police officer found me some time later as I sat in the grass with my head in my hands. Is everything alright? She asked, gently touching my shoulder. I looked up at her face, forcing a smile as tears spilled from my eyes. Yeah, I think it will be now. I didn't have to wait for the officer to say anything. As soon as I looked up, I saw the sun shining above her head, bleaching the sky red with the coming of the evening. What the fuck? Modi was... Earth was home where it ought to be once more. Yeah, I was surprised too, she said, looking up. I saw now that there were tear tracks on her face, just like mine. Do you think it might be over now? Yeah, it is, I said, knowing it to be true, all the way down to my bones. I doubt we'll ever really know what happened, she shrugged. Sure do wish I knew what brought it back, though. Modi, I answered. Modi brought her back. The officer looked at me, joy and confusion in her eyes. What? A Modicon? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Several months later, hold on.